You're good? Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. All right, guys. Sorry about all that. Just finished a sea trial survey, and I'm ready for a new buyer to buy this boat. So I thought I'd hook you up. I got a camera on the bow, got a camera right here, and I thought I'd show you how we do kind of at the helm. I've had a couple requests for people to say, you know, I'd like to see more of the physical driving of it. So here we go. Coming up to a bridge here. We got two bridges on this little river here that are going to need to lift. So I'm going to hail them on the radio here, and we'll go from there. 95th Street Bridge, 95th Street Bridge, outbound vessel needing a lift. There's a traffic jam up on the bridge, so now I have to wait until they can get me through. So in the meantime, got my controls here, my throttles, and either in gear, neutral, or in reverse. Yes, sir. Buddy, have a good day. Thanks. So the life of not only a captain but a yacht broker, and maintenance of yachts. Phone calls are coming in all the time, so kind of why you see me with the earpiece quite a bit. But anyways, back to the task at hand. We've got the bridge in front of us that you hear the dinging in the background. It's about to be lifting here in a moment once they clear the traffic on it. And then we'll continue on our way. Here she goes. So I've now put both throttles in gear forward. It's at idle, and then the further you were to go forward with either one of them, it would speed up either engine, the port engine or the starboard engine. So at this point, we're just inching slowly. I'll kind of cruise up a little faster. This is all no wake area because we've got the marina behind us. I'm going to call the next bridge. I'm going to be courteous to the guy who did lift the bridge here. Thank them for that. Thank you, 95th Street Bridge. Thank you. 92nd Street Bridge, 92nd Street Bridge, outbound PC. Needing a lift, please. So, we're inching forward. We got about I don't know, 2 blocks until the next bridge here, but with the port side and starboard side engines, you know, I can always, right now they're both in gear, and I can always be steering to keep the boat moving right or now to the left. But you can also, if you had the rudders centered, or the rudders are facing forward, I can push one throttle forward further, and you notice the boat's already starting to turn to the left, or the other one. If I put the port side forward, it's getting more thrust from the port side, and it's going to turn me forward to the right. I equate it to like a shopping cart, actually. A lot of times it's kind of easy when doing training. If you're pushing a shopping cart and you push the right side, you know, the nose of the shopping cart is going to go to the right or to the left, whatever way you go, and scooting up so I can get it through this bridge. But once I do, I can show you some other techniques on this as well. So we're going to make our way through this little river system, hit the big lake, Lake Michigan here, and then we're going to cut across from the south side of Chicago, where we are right now, to Chicago Burnham Harbor, right down in the heart of the city, to dock this boat, bring it back to its original slope. Thank you, 92nd Street Bridge. Thanks, guys. All right, so that's that. Now, in front of us, we've got one little jog left on the river, and we are home free. You'll see when we're passing up here in a couple seconds, there's a large container ship, not like the ones you maybe see on the ocean, but pretty large for this area, that is unloading a bunch of materials to be some sort of construction type materials to our starboard side here. We'll be passing in a minute. But so with throttles right now, throttles are in gear, so they are active, so I cannot go and use this joystick. But if these throttles are in neutral, then this joystick becomes fully available immediately. Some other vessels with Volvo IPS, you would have to hit the button to engage the joystick. With the come in Zeus pods. The second you put the boat in neutral, it'll go right to being able to use the joystick. And so I did a video a little bit earlier, but for the joystick, if you literally go slightly to the right, slightly to the left, twist any which way you go, the boat has fully rotating pods on the bottom of them where the propellers are attached to, and they'll twist and thrust in whatever direction is necessary to make the boat do what you're requesting it to do. It makes one less thing for the driver, the captain, whoever to think about, but it gets the boat on a dime. You can make parallel park, whatever you need to do. So I'm looking out at the lake right now. It's a little windy, as you might see or hear, but I can see some chop out there, so we might get a little bumps and wind and waves when we're going, but it's all part of the fun. I'm going to slow down for this big container ship, even though my waves will probably do very little to it, but if they're unloading or loading things, you don't want to rock them. And there's also a small fishing boat to our port side, so we don't want to mess with him either, because you're always responsible for your wake. So anytime that you might be driving past a small vessel, especially with bigger vessels like this, they throw a beast wake, and we'll kind of give these little fishing boats quite a rocking. So you don't want to fuss with that. So as we're exiting this little river, we're pulling into what they call Calumet Harbor area, where it's literally a protected area with break walls, because there is a lot of shipping. Obviously, as the large ship that we just passed, there's a lot of shipping that goes in and out of here, large vessels bringing materials and whatnot. So having a large break wall out there to stop the waves from coming into this area is pretty important. Actually, as you probably can hear, maybe you can't hear me, but winds are coming fairly strong from the north, essentially the direction that we'll be driving in. So if these break walls weren't here, they would be waves would be crashing along the shoreline. Instead, they're crashing over the break wall there. So, but you'll see what I'm talking about when we get around this corner here. So, something I tell people when I'm doing training and coaching. When you're holding throttles here, if you're always kind of have your hand on the throttles, because you got to make last second changes, or if there's someone, a little jet ski that comes out of the way, you need to be able to make a change and slow it down or speed it up or something. But if you had your hands on just the throttles themselves and there's no support underneath me here, if I hit a wave and go forward, I'm going to slam on the gas going forward. That's not a good thing. So I kind of always keep my wrist on the throttle here on the base, and then this way I can move things forward with my hands, my fingers, unless I still have control, so I have support in case I'm getting waves, which I will probably be in a minute here. Then I'm not risking jamming the boat forward. So. All right, the one's in front of us. Let's do it. Going straight into the waves and not taking them on either side of a bow, it's a little more comfortable, it's a little more manageable. When you start taking waves from far right or far left, port or starboard, it becomes a little more goofy, a little more uncomfortable for the captain or even the guests. Sailing school that works out of here, out of the Burnham Park Yacht Club. So the little sailing school is going out, and their little sailboats or whatnot. So I'm going to slow down, kind of not go ripping past them. And the mouth of the harbor becomes a no-wake zone anyway, so we'll slow her down, ease on in, so you can actually probably now hear and be a little easier to walk and talk. So from here we'll go down towards the end of the harbor to our dock. Walk you through the docking process as well. So rules of the road wise, sailboat under sail, not under engine power. A sailboat under sail always has the right of way in the rules of the road. Doesn't matter if they're on your starboard bow, your port bow, whatever it might be. Some people get that a little confused and assume the sailboat always has right of way, but if they're motoring, then they're just like anyone else in the current scheme of pleasure vessels like we are a powerboat. If we're under power and they're under power, then it goes back to you know, the vessel on the starboard bow has the right of way and things of that sort. So. Got a little bit of a treat in Burnham Harbor this week. There's a super yacht that is in town, kind of touring the Great Lakes, and they've made a stop here. So kind of cool to see a new vessel that we haven't seen before. We've got some good drone footage, some good footage of them pulling into the harbor the other day, so that was kind of fun. You know, this entrance to this harbor to me is one of the most scenic views of Chicago. You're pulling into the harbor. You've got the whole view of Soldier Field there on the left side, where the Chicago Bears play football. We've got all the high rises behind us there. So at night, this is an amazing view of the city glowing and pulling in. So maybe I'm partial because this is my home harbor, but hey, that's what it is. Slow it back down to essentially idle. Make sure we're not waking any of the boats that are berthed in their slips. So. We've got a fuel dock here on our port side. On a busy Saturday or something like that, it can get kind of a little chaotic over here. Boats waiting in line, kind of mingling throughout the area. You see the dock further forward on our port side there. It's a tour vessel backing out, so there's a lot of activity around here. So kind of just got to be ready and aware of what's going on around here. Jet skis, kayakers, paddle boarders, all that is anything and everything you'll see in here. So at times on a busy day, there's a lot of boats, a lot of things going on. Ways, even going at idle can be a little too fast. So you've got options as to kind of in and out of gear. So right now I'm in neutral, I'm just kind of drifting. And then I'll go in and out of gear, give it a little bit of thrust, and then kind of bring it back to neutral and just drift for a bit. That way, if any boat's coming in from our right side or our left side, we're able to make a quick, put the boat in reverse to slow us down or whatever is needed. So your other option is to, put one of the engines in forward. Now, if I do that, as I mentioned, you'll see the boat's starting to turn to the left. So then I'll have to turn the wheel to the right. So my rudder is turned to the right. My boat is getting pushed from the left, from the right side. So then we'll be able to kind of balance each other out and stay a straight line. So the only issue about doing it this way, it makes you go nice and slow and you get some good progress. But if you were to take it out of gear, remember, you can't forget that your rudder is slightly turned. So then if your boat will start listing and turning that direction. So you just need to be aware of that and ready to correct as needed. So. A little bit of a breeze. Coming from the north, as I said earlier, so this harbor is situated, the boats dock north and south essentially for the most part. So once I get turning down the channel for our slip, wind's going to be essentially blowing me straight into the slip. So while I'm driving down the channel, it's going to be on my starboard side, blowing the whole entire boat. The whole freeboard of the boat is going to get blown. Boat like this, it's nice and tall, high out of the water. It's going to get blown more and affected quickly, more quickly than, say, a low-profile vessel. So you just need to maybe err on the side of being higher to the wind than closer to where the wind's blowing you. And then with that said, once I do make the official turn, then the wind will be at my stern and slowly drifting me into the slip. So once you're lined up, it'll be really easy to just drift right into the slip. So now that we're getting ready to approach our turn here, I'm going to just slow it down, just drift for a minute, in and out of gear, make sure there's no one coming, no boats backing out or anything that I need to make a change for. Nice and easy. What I can do is I can turn the wheel full to the port and put our starboard engine in forward, which is now, if you notice, the boat's really quickly, not quickly because I'm going in idle, but more effectively turning than having to go forward and neutral, forward and reverse with the opposite engines. So now I can straighten out the wheel and I'm lined up to go straight down the pipe here. Now, another convenience that I forgot to mention is this dock. This is one of our clients' boats here. We already pre-lined the dock with fenders, and this is for the season, so you don't have to worry about throwing fenders overboard over your side decks when you're approaching the dock. It's one less thing to think about, especially in a situation like this when you're coming in solo. So I've got fenders already waiting, and I've got one of our guys on staff that's going to be meeting us here just in case we need an extra hand, but another good opportunity to show you all that I'm doing. And if you notice, this whole time I'm just kind of out of my mind, just thinking, not having to overly think about it. It becomes second nature eventually to just go in and out of gear. I'm going to turn the bow thruster on. So you hear that thrust, that beep means it's on. We're approaching our slip here in a minute, so I'm going to start reversing, slow down my momentum. In gear, out of gear. We're docking on our port side, so we'll have really good visibility once we get to where we need to go. Look behind me and see down the stairwell to see exactly where my swim platform is, so I know how close to the next boats I can be or need to do any adjustments. So I've got plenty of room behind me. Kind of overshot that a tiny bit, so I'm going to kind of come back around, and now I'm going to slip into the slip going this way. So I do have the ability with the joystick, and I can easily go to the joystick if needed. I'm going to just kind of play with this way. Got a little out of whack. It's getting a little chatting too much there, so I'm just going to slowly move the boat to the right, to the left, sorry, it's port. Slowly inching, there we go, just a couple little taps, and now forward with my port. We'll start bringing the boat around just as needed. I can do a little bow thrust, tap, tap, tap. Just about centered here. I can pull the boat off the dock just a tiny bit because my momentum's coming towards the dock. Just little taps. I've got Cole here on the dock. Gonna grab a bow line. That's the forward facing. Yep. Just little adjustments. Fixed now with one spring line. Cole's grabbing the next. We are good there. We'll get the stern line. I'll get you a twist, just a slight twist at the dock. Bring my stern a little closer. All right, I gotta bring him the bow so we can get the bow, so I gotta go get that line. Alright guys, so that's a wrap for the day, and I appreciate you riding along with me. Hope you got some tips and pointers, and nothing else, hope you had a good time. And maybe hit the like button, hit subscribe, shoot in the comments if you want any other tips or pointers, anything else I can help you with. Happy to do it, and thanks for coming along. See ya.